Steel boots stomping, crashing the floor. Two wild Yinzers kicking through the door. Loud like a jag-off at a pins game fight. Brace yourself, this ride ain't polite. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Tales from the burg with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Tales from the burg with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Rivers collide where the laughs always flow. Black and gold thunder everywhere they go. The madcap kings breaking every mold. With two Dum Yinzers, the stories don't get old. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice.
Good morning. Welcome back, everybody. Yeah. What am I hearing? What am I hearing? What am I hearing? Why do I hear extra sounds? Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the show. Yeah, see, I'm hearing some feedback. What is that me or is that you, Mike?
I'm not sure where the feedback's coming from.
It might be me. I don't know. Let me see. That might be it. That might be it.
There we go.
Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to be glad to be back. Welcome, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, Michael. Vacation, we're back. How was it?
It was nice and relaxing, man. I had a nice time, just sitting there, chilling, relaxing. Not gonna lie.
We need a little reloading time. I think it was nice. I wanted to be back. I wanted to be talking sports. I wanted to be here. However, as the week was going on, I appreciated the time that we did have off. We were able to get a lot of things done, actually, here for the show. A lot of things that you're going to start to see sprinkled in the show throughout the week and weeks moving forward. So we're very excited. We got a few other things going on that we did work on this past week. We'll get into that. So much more today, guys. A lot of stuff to talk about as we do get back. Our Steelers, of course, the Combine here starting at the end of the week. The Penguins back at the end of the week. The Pirates in spring training. All kind of stuff going on, Mike, as we were only just 2 months from today away from being back or being down at the draft. 23rd of April is the draft. This is the 23rd of February. So 2 months from today. 2 months from today will be the draft in Pittsburgh. And then also we do have, what do we have? We have free agency coming up in a few weeks as well. That's coming up on March 11. Tampering period starts on the 9th. We have all kind of off-season fun stuff to get into as we do kick back off after the winter break. I do want to say welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back. We do miss everybody. We did miss everybody. It is time. I am glad to be back. And Great to see everybody. Let me get back on the board, Mike. I gotta get on the board. I can't go another day, another moment, another second without getting back on the board. Let me jump on right around here. Good morning. What's up to Tortilla? My man, always great seeing the great Tortilla Jackson from all the way out Sacramento, California. What's up, brother? Always great to see you, man. Hope you had a nice week. RB, welcome back, boys. My man, RB, sir. Hope you're doing well. Tortilla, you guys took a week off and World War III started. You know what? I was totally expecting that. I got to be honest with you. When we left and it was 9/11. What was 9/11? It was the show 9/11.
Yeah, show 9/11.
And it was on Friday the 13th. I thought for sure this world would not be here when we came to come back, but here we are, guys. Core 1999. He says, y'all, hey, a washed up quarterback, y'all won't do shit. Hey, maybe. I don't know. We'll see what's going on with that. Steeler Freak says this 30 seconds in and the electronics kicks Ryan's ass. You know what? It was before that. It was before we got on. Things were already going haywire. But we're getting all the machines back in working condition, guys. So I think we're going to be good from here on out. We will see. No guarantees. Tortilla. And then also Richard, what's up, dude? Richard says, welcome back from vacation. Welcome also, Richard, to you, my friend. Great to see you, sir. Glad to see everybody this morning, this afternoon, wherever you may be. Welcome back, Mike. So was it a nice, relaxing vacation for you?
Yes, it was. I already forgot how to use the mute button on my stuff. But yeah, it was nice and relaxing. Was able to catch up on a bunch of shows, catch up on some reading. It was nice, man. I needed it. I got this new hobby. Have you ever? And I brought this up before. I've done it in smaller doses, but since I had some time, I was able to invest my time into watching these reaction videos of these kids, basically people in their 20s reacting to music from when we were kids. And I got to be honest with you, I can't be more entertained at these videos because you're seeing kids with the knowledge that they have today experiencing what you experienced 25 years ago for the very first time. And a lot of times their reactions are priceless. And a lot of times it's just some of the things that they say. One of them was a Vanilla Ice video. And this kid was like, when did this video come out? Like 2009? 2009? Oh, I wish.
So again, it's mildly entertaining for those reasons. And I got to be honest with you, with kids with the access they have at their fingertips, they don't know quite as much as they should these days. It's crazy what kids don't know. But again, I don't know if you live through it, and if you don't, it's two different things. But I got to be honest with you, Mike. I'm more black than half of these black kids that are on the that are on the reaction videos. I'm thinking to myself, if it comes to rap, I have an extensive knowledge. I truly do. And when these kids are watching, and a lot of times it is black kids, and they are like, "Oh my God, does Dr. Dre even rap?" And it's like I'm thinking, "Oh my God, how does people not know this? This is general knowledge."
Right. Like this is something like everyone should know of music. That Dre was a rapper in the '90s, and that there was the whole thing: is he ever going to rap again? Is he washed up? And another thing, it was a big cultural thing for us at that time.
And another reason I like watching black people do it, because for certain things that I liked, because I did grow up on rap, some of the white guys like House of Pain and Vanilla Ice, so many of these people, they get on and they start doing these reactions, and they had no idea that these guys are white. That's part of the excitement is them finding out that the artists are actually white. I get into it. I don't know why. It's funny. It's fun to me, and I spent a lot of my time watching these reaction videos over break. And again, it's pretty funny, man, because they're like they stop the whole show. They look at the camera like in awe, and they go on about, my God, this I always thought this was a black guy singing. I always thought this was a black guy, and of course it isn't. But that is what I did with a lot of time on my vacation, a lot of work for the show, a lot of work at the radio station, a lot of different things. So we did get a lot done. There are a lot of wheels in motion. I do want to say that, Mike, we did a lot during this vacation for the show, and there are a lot of wheels that are in motion, and you're going to start seeing that as the days and the weeks go on, guys. A lot of good stuff coming up here on the show. Glad to be back. Glad to see everybody back this morning, this afternoon, wherever you may be on this the 23rd of February, guys. Again, the Combine in just 3 more days. Penguins back in action in 3 more days. The USA wins the gold. We're going to get started on some stuff here in just a moment. Mike, let me grab a couple more messages before we do so. Let me go right here to Steeler Freak says this. Ryan watched Soul Train. He knows his stuff. Also, Jimmy, what's up, dude? Jimmy Myers says hip hop is going through its outlaw stage. And you know what? So many of these people, these kids, these younger people, Mike, they're like, it's just not the same. Look how organic rap seemed back then. And now it seems like it's so forced and people are just trying to get in and get out and get their money and get out. But a lot of these younger people, they will say, like, look how different, look how natural, look how simplistic rap was back then. And it's true. I grew up with a lot of those people. And again, it's that their roots were what they sang about. Now it's everything and anything to get money and then get out of the game.
I think you and I had this discussion. I don't know if it was on vacation or leading up to it about music in general. It's the same way. Whether I think because we were talking about grunge and stuff like that, and in the West Coast rap scene, and how like you said, it felt all organic about their lifestyles. And now you listen to rock, it's all cookie cutter. It's all what's going to sell the most, what's going to get us the most plays, and then you never hear from these people anymore. Everyone's just becoming a one-hit wonder. There's like no, at least to me, it doesn't feel like there's no big movements in any type of genre anymore. It's all about what can I capitalize on quick and then get out. It's just, it feels different now.
Yeah, I'm seeing
from when we were younger, at least, or we could just be old and out of touch. Which I don't think is the case.
Here's the thing: to be old and out of touch, what does that mean? That just means to not have the current information at your fingertips, like the people that are actually alive today. The fact of the matter is, we have the other 99% of the time under our belts. So to be out of time or whatever the case may be, I think that it goes in our favor, Mike. We've seen it all. Not only do we live through today, but we live through all the other stuff. So again, all those things that older people started to say are making sense to me as I'm getting a little bit older. But let's get back on the board. Let's get into some sports, Mike. We have a lot of things going on. Again, we have the combine here in just a couple of days. We have the free agency in just a couple of weeks. The draft in 2 months from today. A lot of things. Let me grab some more on the board, and we're going to move forward. Tortilla says, we can't jump, but we can rap. Yeah, some of us can rap. Somber says, welcome back, gents. Great to see you, Somber. Hope things are going well for you, brother. Hope you had a nice week, my man. Kenneth, what's up, dude? Always great seeing the great Kenneth Jones on the board. He says, hello, guys. Always great to see you. John, Steeler Freak says this. Kenny Pickett will be, Beastie Boys, 3 Jews who rapped. Only in America, baby. Tortilla says, Kenny Pickett will be a rapper in 10 years. RB, my man, he says this: Steelers and Jaguars have met 2 times already about Brian Thomas Jr. Seriously, keep an eye on that. I appreciate that, sir, as always. Somber said, oh, sweet, I found the normal stream. And Mark Malone, what's up, dude? He says, dude, they don't even play instruments. But you know what? I agree with that, but ultimately it is an art form. It is an art form, and just because they don't play the typical instrument doesn't mean that they're not songs that are put well together and written and performed and everything else. So at the end of the day, a lot of fun. I only really like watching the stuff that I grew up on and seeing how a lot of these younger guys, most of the time in their mid-20s, react to it. It's a lot of fun. That's just me, guys. Let's get into some sports, though. We got Mike. What do we got? The Pirates and the Penguins. I think they're going to get me through this offseason just fine. The Penguins, they're back in action. They're looking really good. And Mike, the Pirates going out and making all kind of moves this offseason to bring in bats to help out Paul Schemes and company this year for the Pirates. I think that this might go well I'm hoping it will go well for the Bucks. And Mike, with those two and also the Passion and the River Hounds, I think this offseason is going to keep us pretty occupied, on top of the Steelers having, I suspect, a very busy offseason.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be fast paced, man. There, like you said, there's a lot going on, and if the Penguins can pick up where they left off, and if Crosby can come back healthy, look out. And if Crosby's not healthy, maybe Malkin has one more of those runs in him where he can carry the team when someone has taken liberties with Crosby. So I'm hopeful for the Penguins, man. And then the Buccos, yeah, it's only spring training, but they're actually looking like a competent team.
They've played
scary because if they can get it together, man, they've the acquisitions that they've made, man, guys are slotting into the lineup where they would actually be on a real well-run major league roster, and they can have a nice little run with them, man. I'm hopeful for them, man. Maybe win the division.
Well, they did, Mike. They're off to a good start in the preseason and spring training. I'm sorry, they played 2 games. They played a split game yesterday, so technically they have 3 wins, and they're 3-0 so far in spring training. They'll be back at it today against the New York Yankees. That game's at 1:05. Mike, yesterday the hockey championship at 8 o'clock in the morning here Eastern Standard Time. The hockey championship game for the gold medal went down. Team USA took on Team Canada minus Sidney Crosby. Mike, this game goes all the way down to overtime, and the United States of America wins the gold over Canada in Olympic hockey. Any surprise to you if Sidney Crosby was in there? Does this these the same results?
I think if Sid's in there, they might win. You know, both teams were evenly matched. USA has the better goaltending, and it's been that way for a while now. But I think Sid's in there. You know, maybe McDavid doesn't choke. You know, maybe some of these guys step it up. But, you know, hey, you know, we won. I was happy either way. You know, if USA wins, cool, we won. If Canada wins, cool. You know, the captain of my hockey team won and adds to his legacy. So I was happy with either outcome. But I think if Crosby plays, I think Canada might pull it out. But, you know, that's sports, man. You know, and we owe a debt of gratitude as a nation to Ratko Gudas for taking the runs and liberties against Crosby. But now we hate Ratko Gudas as Penguins fans because he kind of fucked our season if Crosby can't come back.
Penguins will be back in action on Thursday night as they host the New Jersey Devils. Mike, they have roughly 13 games left on their schedule. They will be wrapping it up in March and starting the playoffs. So hopefully, and again, I was telling somebody the other day at work at the radio station, somebody said, well, what's going on with your beard? How long are you going to let it grow? It is my playoff beard. Now, it is going to be here until a Pittsburgh team does advance out of the first round of the playoffs. So that next opportunity we do have for this beard to come off will be the Penguins. Let's see if they could do that.
I think they might. I think we might see the end of the beard.
All right. Let me stay back on the board here. Mark Melendez says, they're playing skin flutes. Aaron Jade, what's up, brother? Always glad seeing Aaron on the board. There's the Rockets. I needed that. I needed that last week. Jamal, what's up, brother? Always great seeing Jamal gang in this piece. I did reach out to you, Jamal. Check your email. I tried to get a hold of you over the weekend. Do check that out. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the Two Dum Yinzers. Again, this is episode 912, guys. Just 88 short episodes away from the big 1,000, Mike. The big 5-year mark also coming up this summer. It's going to be a lot of fun. We have a lot of stuff in store. And as I said, there are a lot of wheels that are in motion from work that we've done over the break. You will start to see things sprinkled in as time goes on. But, Mike, let's get to what's important. Let's talk some Pittsburgh Steelers.
Let's fucking go.
Pittsburgh Steelers time. Steelers. Let me start right here, Mike. A lot of talk of Jalen Waddle over the vacation. I didn't pay much of mine because, again, I took a little vacation for myself, and a lot of the work I did was for the show per se. I wasn't really tuned into everything that was going on in sports last week. Mike, what is going on? What's the word on the Jalen Waddle situation?
Yeah, that's heated up here recently. Waddle being one of the pieces being moved by the Dolphins. What I'm seeing a lot of like the rumors and speculations is that we would have to at least give up a first-round pick for Jalen Waddle. He's going to be better than any of the first-rounders we get. I just don't know, man. There's receivers you can get in the second round that can come in and play, but are they going to play as well as him? And are you willing to give up a first-round pick for him and take on his contract? It has to be nice to have another contract, actually paying someone on the offensive side of the ball outside of DK and Metcalf, and him and Metcalf together would be a fun combination. But, is that first-round pick, are you willing to deal that? And I don't know if the Steelers are. With the draft being in Pittsburgh, I just don't see them doing that. Now, maybe if they can give up next year's first or, a package of like second this year, like kind of like they did with DK and some other picks, maybe. I'd like to see him here with that speed, but if you're going to bring back Aaron Rodgers at your quarterback, you're kind of wasting Jalen Waddle's best ability.
Somber saying right on the board, he's saying they won entirely too much. He heard 2 firsts. No, thank you. Of course not. That's crazy talk, right?
No. I like Jalen Waddle, but no, not that much.
We're going to stay on offense to get this day started, guys. A lot of scoop. Let me start by some fun scoop. Of course, Mike, this is 94 points is what Chris Boswell needs. If Chris Boswell manages to rack up 94 points this season, which isn't out of the question, Mike, he will become the Steelers' all-time leading scorer. Chris Boswell with 94 points will become the Steelers' all-time leading scorer. I think deserving enough because, again, back in the day when I was growing up, it was Gary Anderson, and he was the leading scorer for how long?
Yeah.
I'm okay with Chris Boswell taking over that slot.
Me too. I'd love to see him get it. We know if Tomlin was coach, he's definitely going to get it. Now, is McCarthy going to settle for field goals, or is he going to push it in the, going for it on being more aggressive, going on fourth down in some of those situations? So it's going to see, but I think he can do it.
You know what? I think that he's going to do it. And again, I haven't figured out the numbers in my head of what that's going to take. But again, if anybody could do it, Chris Boswell can do it. And you know what? He's going to be here for another couple of years. He's certainly going to do it. We're going to talk about people that may not be here much longer. Mike, we're going to talk about some ridiculous suggestions for trades, but also, excuse me, before we do get rolling any further, let's talk a little bit more about this offense. I want to talk about receivers, quarterbacks today, Mike, as we do get things kicked off. We're going to talk a little offense. The NFL Network, Mike, the NFL Network's rank the top 10 routes of the season. The NFL Network ranked the top 10 routes ran this season. Do you know what was number one?
Kenny G?
No, but close. Calvin Austin III, when he shook that guy in the last game of the season in Baltimore to catch that pass in the left side of the end zone to win the game. That way. The NFL Network was voted the number one route of the season, Mike. It was Calvin Austin III's double move to beat Baltimore, number one.
That's insane.
It sure is.
That's nuts. For you figure all the great receivers that are out there, like JSN, Jamar Chase, Jetta, all these guys, and there's little Calvin Austin.
Yeah, so there, and it was pretty. And again, you didn't really notice the beauty of the move because again, you're just so excited. You win the football game, you make the playoffs. So much was at stake at that point. So, but that was it, guys. The NFL Network says the number one route ran this season was that Calvin Austin III, that stop route on the 10-yard line, give or take, down on the left, and we did score on the pass to him. So that's pretty neat. Also, Mike, PFF's 101 recap, inside defensive lineman has Cam Hayward marked up as number one also, Mike. Number one for Cam Hayward from PFF's PFF 101 recap, interior defensive lineman. They have Cam Hayward number one on that list.
How?
I don't know.
In that Baltimore game, yes, he was definitely number one. He played his fucking ass off in that game, and he had some other really good games. But again, my biggest complaint with Cam, it's never that consistent. But hey, whatever.
Let's see what else we got to talk about this offense, Mike. I hear these are a few words from some of our local media or some of our local beat writers. These are some interesting takes that I've read from them regarding Aaron Rodgers. Again, Mike, the big question is, what is this team going to do moving forward? What's the move? Yeah. What's the plan? Quarterbacks, receivers, the 43-year-old. What is it going to be? This, Mike, from Jerry Dulac. He says, Jerry Dulac is quietly doubling down on he says the Steelers are quietly doubling down on bringing Aaron Rodgers back. Ray Fittipaldo says Rodgers' return is trending right now with the team. Like, so I didn't ultimately want this because to me, again, it just feels like it's kicking the can down the road, and you got to make a move at some point. If you're going to wait around for the best opportunity to catch lightning in the bottle, you might be waiting a long time. At some point, you got to make a move. I guess this is a luxury having access to this man at 43 years old who could still come in and play reasonably well. But another year, and this will be 1 year into the Mike McCarthy experiment as well. So again, we were hoping to see a little bit of change with the changes in the coaching staff. Is this kind of the same thing, Mike? Is it? Yeah, go ahead.
I would say it's I'm kind of echoing what you were saying there before I cut you off. I'm sorry, like it's the same old. We were hoping for a changing of the guard, changing of the philosophy, and it's seeming like the philosophy is going to be the same of get a quarterback who can manage the game, not lose it, and keep it close. And if you win by a blowout, awesome. If not, hey, we're gonna hope our defense bails us out. That's kind of what that. It's kind of what they would be saying to us if they bring back Aaron Rodgers. Like, sorry, good luck. Here you go. Here's another retread who can, manage the game for you. He's not going to make many big plays, but he's not going to make many stupid plays. Here you go. Instead of like, I really don't want him, but if you want to make a splash and try and do something different, take a swing at Malik Willis. Try and take a swing at a trade for a Mac Jones, something like that. Someone younger than a 43-year-old guy who's getting ARP mail. Okay, let's try and do something different.
Mike, you could tell that you're not close to the age because, again, I don't know who calls it ARP mail, but the AARP usually does come rolling around at a certain point. Let me jump back on the board here shortly, though, Mike. I don't want to get behind today. We're back, and I got to be honest with you. If we get behind, I'll lose my mind. So let me jump back on the board. I'm going to start right around here. Right where John says, when Tomlin walked, I was excited. Then I heard Rooney speak, and I saw the Mike McCarthy hire coming. For me, the Steelers went back, if not stayed the same, but they didn't move forward with that hire. I think a lot of us ultimately agree with that, John. And I kind of kept using my example of the particular kind of coach that Coach T was, and John Harbaugh is, and Mike McCarthy is. And I just, again, you see the same results from these guys for so long. You're just wondering what exactly it is do you have. Are you going to get an older coach that's going to come in and be innovative because maybe he's from town, he's more excited. Who knows? Who knows what's going to play into it? But again, at the end of the day, it does seem like it was not that much of an advancement, Mike, as far as moving forward, perhaps by this coaching move. And again, only being on. At the end of the day, I mean, he was going to have a contract anyway, but after 5 years, what's the move with him? Let's say things don't get better in 5 years. Let's say things stay roughly the same. How do you handle that in 5 years if Mike McCarthy goes, let's say 10-7, 9-8, 9-8, 10-7, and the 10-7, and they don't win a playoff game? You have to can McCarthy after 5 years. I think so, right?
Yeah, because you brought him in to be the guy to get you over the hump. Because otherwise we're just having more of the same. It's going to be the continuation of Mike Tomlin and to Mike McCarthy being the same thing. You were the one brought in to replace the guy who stalled and got stale here. And if you end up coming in right away, stalling and staling and doing the same thing, you're going to have a really, really short leash,
Yeah.
And so the pressure's kind of on him, but not you got to give it a year or two. You got to do that for at least any coach, at least a year or two before you start really thinking about, okay, do we need to make changes? And that's why what they do at the quarterback position this year, if it's another bridge year, you can justify it because there's no real good quarterbacks out in the draft outside of Mendoza, because everyone went back to college this year, and the guys who came out really did not pan out in college. Okay,
Mike, who's the biggest surprise going to come out of college as far as a quarterback this year? Who's going to be the one that ends up being okay in the NFL that everyone said, well, this guy wasn't a first rounder, let's pass on him, we're going to wait? Who is going to be that guy from this draft?
Oh, I'm just early name popping into my head just because he's been talked about a lot. And because he went to a big time program, Ty Simpson, maybe if he can, work on his decision making process, because he has the tools, but you saw him in those big games, he panicked. And now, why was that? It could be a many different things, but he has the tools to do it. But can he get it together up here? If he can get it together up here, I think he can be good, but not a great quarterback. I don't think any of the quarterbacks that came out are going to be good. I'm not even really that sold on Mendoza yet. So there's none of these guys that I trust, but I think those are the two best right now. I was hoping Nussmeier would be something, but he flaked out worse than Simpson this year. On size, you think Drew Aller could be that guy, but I don't think he has that ability either, and I don't think he has it up here to do it. So just by default, maybe Ty Simpson, and that's a huge maybe. That's a huge qualifier because I'm not even sold on him.
Mike, I was reading this. Here, let me pull it up here real quick. Speaking of quarterbacks, we have this Will Howard kid, Mike. Apparently, studies find that Will Howard is amongst the most loved NFL players. Aaron Rodgers draws mixed reactions, Mike, but Will Howard, should we just give this kid a try? Should we just let him play? So we see what he has. Could he surprise us? Could he step up and say, you know what, I sat behind a guy, I learned a lot. Maybe I could step in and be that guy. There's so many other options on the table. So many people thinking, that we're going to look at this guy, we're going to do that. Again, we never seen the guy that we did draft take a single snap. You hear all the arguments. Oh, he's a 6th-round guy. How good could he be? Blah, 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 blah. Mike, in all reality, and again, Aaron Rodgers is very much on the ticket, I think, at this point. And again, the way things are trending lately, it sure seems that he is. But would you ultimately be okay if Will Howard ended up being the starting quarterback this year? And again, I don't think that we're winning any Super Bowls this year in any other route that we take. So wouldn't it be most beneficial for the team to get this kid under center and have him playing?
If you trust him and think he can be a guy, yeah, go ahead and do it this year.
Trust him. We never got a chance to see him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
see, because you're seeing him in practice, but practice and game are different. Throw him out there. I fuck it. I have no problem with it, because if you want to say, hey, what we were doing wasn't working, trying to just remain competitive every year, if things break our way, awesome. We don't want to do that anymore. This would be the way to go, because if you'd be like, okay, hey, we're willing to fail to get better, and put them out there. Because worst case scenario, you're picking in the top 10.
What's our highest priority?
Best case scenario, you are where you are now. So
what's our highest priority, Mike, on offense? Is it a quarterback or is it a receiver? And should it be a quarterback ultimately?
Biggest priority?
Yeah.
Ooh. Well,
you need somebody to get the ball in them guys' hands. I mean, you could bring in 53 wide receivers and not have a guy to get it into their hands, right?
Because if you don't have a quarterback that's at least a top 15 quarterback in the league that can win you games, your priority should be finding that next quarterback. And right now we don't have that, so that should be the priority.
Mike, is it bothersome that we haven't found that anywhere close to that quarterback in 8 years? I'm not pinpointing any one coach, anything. I'm just saying, is it kind of bothersome, Mike, that we really came so little in progress of finding that next guy in the last 8 years?
Oh yeah, it is bothersome. Definitely.
Yeah, I agree. Let's get back on the board, Mike. A lot going on. I don't want to miss anybody. Welcome, everybody. Again, I know that Mike has this split thing going on. He has the one vertical screen going. He has the landscape screen going on. All kinds of screens. Mike, I'm seeing my face far too many times in front of me.
I'm sorry. We're trying something different.
All right. Let's go right here. Steeler Freak says, this 5 years is a long time. It sure is, man. It sure is. In football years, it really is. It goes fast, but it is a long time. I do want to say what's up to Tater. How you doing, Tater? Nice to see you. Tater on the board, everybody. Tortilla says, at least we hired an offensive guy. That's something. You got to keep in mind the last guy was a defensive guy, and that seemed to fall apart on us from time to time. So again, I'm very, very anxious and curious to see what the new coaching staff brings to the table, how it affects this team. And again, so much is going to happen before we even get an opportunity to see these guys play, Mike, with the combine coming up, free agency coming up on March 11th, with the 9th being the tampering period. We have the draft 2 months from today. It starts 2 months from today, the 23rd of April. So still so much stuff to go on, Mike, and it's hard to tell what kind of season it's going to be. Again, a whole new coaching staff, a bunch of new guys coming in, people moving around, guys that are going to be here that wasn't here, not going to be here that was here, so on, so forth, etc. etc. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And again, Mike, I don't think this offseason is going to be a letdown. There's a lot of stuff, especially if you're a Pittsburgh fan, for the sports in its entirety. We have a lot going on with our teams this year, guys. It's going to be a blast. But primarily, let's worry about these Steelers. I'm going to stay on the board right here where Somber says this. They went entirely too much. I heard 2 first. No, thank you. That is for the Jalen Waddle. Tortilla says, yeah, I'd rather keep the picks, pick up a rookie wide receiver. That's like the only thing we can draft. Mark Malone says, I'd rather sign Alec Pierce. Mark Malone would rather sign Alec Pierce, Mike.
Yeah, I'd take Alec Pierce via free agency than having to give up all that draft capital for Waddle. I really liked him, what he did up in Indy. Him or Romeo Dobbs.
That keeps popping up too, that name as well. John says this 32 field goals in 17 games, a little under 2 per game, not counting the playoffs. Thank you for the math, sir. John, always got my back. Somber says the stop and go. That's right, it was. Lindsay, great to see Lindsay on the terrible board. I hope you had a great week. Nice seeing you, Lindsay. It was a very uncharacteristic week last week as far as weather here in Western PA. Hope everything went well for you and you got to enjoy a little bit of the snow melting. But I woke up this morning and it's back. Like, there's more snow already. It 60 degrees last week. The snow gone. Woke up this morning, snow back on the ground.
Yeah, we can't escape it. I hate it. I'm over the snow. I used to love it. Now I'm old and my joints hurt, so I hate the snow.
Somber says put Buddy on his ass. Also, Tortilla, I think it being a game-winning touchdown had little to do with absolutely something to do with it. And the guy fell. Absolutely. If it was a useless game between two teams that had no chance at the playoffs, I bet you we don't even have this conversation. Let me scoot up here a little bit. Everybody getting some pleasantries in. Nice to see everybody. Still loyal. What's up, dude? Always great seeing you. John says this: the can is already kicked down the road till 2028 and beyond. You know what? I agree with you in a sense. I don't like to think it though, because here we are in the beginning of 2026.
Right. Long time.
John follows that up by saying Rodgers and the Steelers were 1-5 against playoff teams last year. Tortilla says had to get 5 turnovers just for that one win. That's right, against New England. We needed all that. We needed every single one of them turnovers against that one playoff team. You're not wrong. Somber says this: as long as he finds up a franchise quarterback, job well done. End of days. What's up, dude? Always great seeing End of days on the terrible board. End of days says forget Rodgers. He lost a playoff game and he'll do it again. Still loyal. Klubnik, Flocka, Tortilla saying. Somber says Combine is going to be huge for Simpson. Lindsay says, yeah, no Simpson. Mark Malone, I grab Robertson or Beck. RB says this: Tyler Van Dyke is a name to watch. Will probably go undrafted. Didn't play last year coming off of a broken leg. Dude has all the physical tools. Somber says studies, LOL. Tortilla, I don't think Simpson is as bad as everyone is making him out to be. John says this: Pickett was drafted in 2022. The Steelers haven't really tried to get a quarterback since him, except going with Band-Aids. They should be grabbing a guy every year until they find a guy.
The Mark Malone philosophy.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm going to get 2 a year. See what happens.
You're upping your odds. You know what I mean? Tortilla says, don't get me wrong. I don't think his going to be a star. I just think he has a shot at a good situation. Somber says this: he's just not first round talent. He might be the closest not being a project, but he's still a project. Somber says the biggest priority is left guard. It's a big priority. Sure is. Tortilla says that's fair. Somber, Tom Brady isn't doing shit without an offensive line. Steel Loyal says yes. I don't see most of the comments. You're not seeing on here? Somber says if Isaac ends up staying, that it's a wide receiver. Okay, gotcha. On a priority list. John says this: the Steelers are still paying for Ben's control of the team. Yet another example of not being the best team player. Steel Loyal says, all right, here's the actual chat. All right, glad you found it, man. I don't know what was going on there. He follows it up by saying I was in the portrait mode and comments were getting okay. Yeah, so I don't know. Again, we're trying something new here. Mike has the portrait mode on. And if there's any issues with comments, just flip back over. I'm learning this as much as you guys are, Mike. Yeah.
So am I. I didn't know like all the comments wouldn't be showing up on there. I figured it would be. You know, it's YouTube and YouTube shows comments everywhere.
Yeah. We'll adjust. Whatever doesn't work, we'll certainly make it happen. Let's go to. Somber says I escaped the Matrix. Still Loyal says I thought I was tripping. Bingo. What's up, dude? Bingo says, good day, everybody. Always great seeing Bingo. Good afternoon to you, sir. And then Aaron JD says he's on the live feed. I was just there and had had to find this. Again, we apologize about that, guys. If you do have any trouble, just come back to the regular, because we're again learning it just like you are as of right now. Let me go grab Tortilla, YouTube being YouTube. Guys, I'm going to stick on offense here for a little bit, Mike. I have a few more things I do want to talk about.
Yeah.
This was said about Roman Wilson. A beat writer says this: it's up to Roman Wilson to become more of a pro. The beat writer says offensive coordinator and quarterback were not happy with his professionalism. I was just reading this morning, Mike. Again, the beat writer was not named. However, that's how it was written out, Mike. It said this: up to Roman Wilson to become more of a pro. Beat writer says offensive coordinator and quarterback not happy with his professionalism. Interesting take, Mike. It would make sense.
You would think.
Because everything else with Roman Wilson literally makes no sense.
Yeah.
The guy went out there, caught the ball 99% of the times you threw it to him.
Yeah.
There was the one shit play. I mean, he tried to jump over a guy and he ended up fumbling the ball, but he was out his whole rookie season. This year, thinking that, getting a better of an opportunity to play. You barely seen the guy in a whole entire season. That would make a lot of sense, Mike. Again, one more time, up to Roman Wilson to become more of a pro. Beat writer says offensive coordinator and quarterback not happy with his professionalism. Mike, what's your thoughts?
Well, if that's true, that explains a lot why we haven't seen him. Because, like you said, when we saw him last year, he was productive. Outside of that one fumble, okay, every player's going to have a stupid moment. I don't care who you are. You can watch everyone's tape, and they've done something stupid like that. And that would be why wasn't he out on the field? And if that's the case, and it is up to him to sort that shit out and and get with the program.
I'd like to know some stories. I'd like to know some scoop. What was going on? What makes him not professional? Because again, 2 years goes by and you're in an organization. You eventually learn to read the room. You would think. And if you're not reading, if you're reading the room, you're looking around saying, okay, everybody else is doing this and it's kind of professional, and I'm running around with the sock hanging off my wiener or whatever the case may be. I don't know. I'm not saying that's what he did, but you know what I mean? Eventually you read the room. Like, he's going into season number 3 with this team. Again, we don't know to this to be the truth. We do know that this was written. However, what can he do, Mike? And again, I think this would be a good start with the new head coach coming in. Whatever happens with the quarterback situation, you probably want to get on the new coach's good side, especially if your first 2 years in the pros kind of turned out the way his first 2 years went.
Yeah, and oh God, like I kind of wish the beat reporter put your name on it, because now it's like, okay, is it true? Is it not? You trying to, were you doing favors for the outgoing, offense coordinator and outgoing head coach? Allow, put your name out there so people can ask, like, dude, okay, so what happened? What else are you hearing? What did you see? Why aren't you reporting that? It's just kind of, like, take this with a grain of salt, but it, if it's true, it kind of would be like, okay, this makes sense why he hasn't played a whole lot.
I'm going to go to Lindsay's comment, just making a quick jump up here. Lindsay says Roman handled Arthur AR yelling pretty good. Handled AR. Okay, got it. Roman handled AR yelling pretty good. Also, Tortilla says makes sense. He went to Michigan. Let's see what a couple more these comments are. They're kind of funny. Let me grab this one right here. Somber says if Aaron comes back, Roman will be dealt in or before the draft. Mark Malone says bad news for Roman if true. Steel Loyal says, well, the offensive coordinator is gone. Let's jump right up here to where Mark Malone. We don't know, but you know what? I guess it's as good as any. His suggestion, maybe he was sending dick pics to Tomlin's wife. We don't know. But there you go. Also, Somber says this. Mikey says you can tell he's immature when he talks. I was hoping the talent outweighed the attitude like Pickens. Guess not. I got to be honest. I've just heard him talk a couple of times, and I've never noticed. But now I don't know if I'm going to be able to unsee it. I think whenever I hear him talk, I'm just going to automatically assume that he's not professional because this is the information that's at the front of my mind. But I didn't pick up on that. I didn't pick up on anything about his attitude or anything, Mike.
Yeah, me either. But I guys like that. I really don't pay a whole lot of attention to him because he hasn't done a whole hell of a lot.
Right.
You barely hear him. Barely hear him speak. But goddamn, dude, man, you have a chance like on a team that has really no wide receiver depth to be a starter in the league. And if this is true, come on, get your head right. Go out there and do what you need to do.
We come back to John. John says this third rounders have a 38% success rate. Don't be surprised if Caleb Johnson washes out too. You got to see something from Caleb. I really got to see something from him, Mike. I was not impressed with Caleb at all. Everyone's always going to go back to that fumble, that muff up in the Seattle game. But at the end of the day, there was just no acceleration with this kid.
Yep.
I was thinking that on the returns. I was thinking this on the offense. The acceleration that you think that you're going to see, it just wasn't there, and that was discouraging.
Yeah, that was the big thing. He was real hesitant to hit the holes, even like when he would commit to a running lane or a hole. The burst wasn't there. Like maybe once or twice there was like a little of acceleration, but for the most part, he just kept getting caught in the wash. I don't know if he was slow to process it. The pace of the game was just too fast for him his rookie year. We'll see, because some guys can have really bad rookie years and they turn it around in year two. So hopefully he can be one of those guys. But right now, like I really wasn't a big fan of him being drafted just because you look at his 40 times sucked, his 10-yard cone shuttle I think sucked, his 10-yard split in the 40-yard dash sucked. On film he plays faster. At least in college he played faster than his combine numbers showed, but in the pros he played more or less the way his combine numbers showed. So like, who is the real Caleb Johnson?
Yeah. Again, we'll keep our eye open, but I'm not deaf. I'm far from sold. I'm far from sold, Mike. If I would have seen, it's almost Jonnu Smith. Now, not because he didn't have the talent, maybe because he didn't get the opportunities. But again, Mike, his production was about as exciting as Jonnu Smith for me. It was just so much more of an expectation compared to what it was that we actually got. And that's how he kind of falls. And again, it's not the skill set. It's not the different times of play, periods of playing time. It's just ultimately, Mike, you wasn't wowed at any point whenever you seen that person with the ball. And again, that could have been on kickoff return. That could have been on offense. It could have been at any situation in the game. I never thought to myself, that's what I want to. Maybe once, because I can remember one particular game where you and I were watching it together, and I said, that right there, if he runs like that, we'll be happy, Mike. But that might have been literally the only time I said that throughout the season.
Yeah, I think so too. And it was kind of disheartening too, because you've seen other backs that were drafted after him. Like, I think Trayvon Henderson was picked after him, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that. Like, we saw Harvey from Denver was picked after him. I think was putting up better numbers too. I think there were wide receivers drafted after him that actually put up numbers. So it was kind of disheartening, like especially in a third round pick. You're not seeing a lot of production out of him. But don't forget, though, he did end up having to fight Jaylen Warren and Kenny Gainwell. And I don't know if the Steelers predicted how well and how valuable Kenny Gainwell would be. And that kind of hindered Johnson's ability to get out on the field, just how productive Kenny Gainwell was. There's a reason he became the team MVP. And when you're third on the depth chart, your team MVP is a spot ahead of you. You're not going to see the field a whole hell of a lot. The circumstances played into it too.
I would agree. Let me do jump along, Mike. I'm going to go right here to Tortilla. He says, he acts like he doesn't even care. Doesn't care from what I've seen, talking about Roman, I'm sorry. Jeremy, what's up, dude? Always great seeing Jeremy Olsen on the board. He says this: we need to find a way to keep Kenny G, no matter what, top of the list. He certainly was such a big part of this team, and it's hard to imagine. It's hard to imagine, Mike, had things had turned the way they went without Kenny G in the lineup. But you know what? With that being said, it's hard to believe things being a different way if we didn't have the 42-year-old quarterback either. At the end of the day, it wasn't the most ideal situation, but the guy managed to get us 10 wins, managed to get us into the playoffs. And again, Mike, certain throws and certain things that he did and seen throughout the time that he was playing last year were things that you probably weren't going to get from your Mason Rudolph or from your rookie quarterback or from other quarterbacks. So, that kind of is how that falls for me. Let me just continue up here a little bit. I do want to say John says this. Steeler Freak says Muth should go too if Rodgers comes back. Mike, you know what? I don't like to hear that, but I ultimately think that could be most beneficial for him just because of the way things went last year. Now, you could obviously see that Aaron Rodgers has favorites, and that's fine. But again, from what we're reading this morning, Mike, from Roman Wilson, just not being professional, and the quarterback wasn't favorable for the quarterback. Mike, it also has to come back to this particular conversation as well with Pat Freiermuth, because again, at the end of the day, before Aaron came in, Pat was very, very productive tight end. As a matter of fact, one of the most productive tight ends in Steeler history in those first 2 to 3 seasons of his career. Mike, would it benefit Aaron Rodgers, or would it benefit Pat Freiermuth if Aaron didn't come back? Or do you think that this could be something that's resolved? Again, new system, new coach, new coordinators, new ideas. Aaron Rodgers comes back. What does that do to Pat Freiermuth's career here in Pittsburgh?
You're going to see his numbers more or less be what they were this year, and not being used until late in the game, kind of like we saw against Cincinnati. He's a guy who can attack the seam. Is he the greatest tight end in the league? No, but my God, he's better than what he's shown the past couple of years by quarterbacks being afraid to throw into the middle of the field. Use him, and he could be a weapon. You have him and Darnell Washington, a pretty good combination right there. You get Freiermuth involved, that's going to open up so many other possibilities for this offense. It's going to open up your wide receivers, because now you got to start paying more attention to him. This is just basic fucking football. Now, he can be a huge weapon on this team, and we saw it his rookie year. Him and Ben had a really good connection. Tight end should be a quarterback safety blanket, and he's not.
Yeah, it's a shame how things have gone, Mike. Let me stay on the board. I don't want to get too far behind. A lot of messages, guys. Thank you. Great to see everybody back. We missed you guys. We truly, honestly did. It's exciting to be back today. Again, Mike, day 1 of the rest of season 9. We'll be heading all the way up until July when we hit season 10, the 1000th episode, like 5 years of the show. The wheels are in motion. There's no stopping us now. Let's stay on the board right here. Steel Loyal says, I think Caleb was scared. He's way more explosive than he showed. Also, Jeremy says this. We already know McCarthy plans to make Will Howard the long-term plan. Aaron will be back 1 more year. Resign Skyler, trade Mason, and 1 7th-round pick for McKee. Mark Malone says the Johnson only got the ball against 11 men in the box. And he never had really prime opportunities. He didn't. But again, there was just nothing that I seen about him specifically that excited me. Again, what was done against him was one thing, but there was just no points during the season where I thought that's what I want to see more. You need to see a little bit more from him, I think, just in the opportunities that he's given. Let's scoot up here to Lindsay. Lindsay says, yeah, I haven't heard him talk that much either, so I can't comment, of course, on Roman Wilson. Steel Loyal says factors are franchise tagging Kyle Pitts, Mike. Kyle Pitts being franchise tagged down in Atlanta.
Talk about a bust. This cat was like, what, the 3rd, 4th overall pick in the draft?
Yeah.
Huge bust.
Let's go to Somber. Caleb is a volume back. He's not going to improve being running back 3. I guess we'll see, but I doubt it. Still Loyal says Caleb needs a big run to gain his confidence. He's running scared. I would agree. He's running scared. He looks like he's running scared. He's running like a guy that's not going to be in the league that long is what he's running like. Mark Malone, he says, I'm telling you, Johnson is going to attack the hole with McCarthy at helm. Somber says from RB1 to RB3 and 4 plus the fumble, set that man up for failure. Well, that's right. They did have him pretty high up, didn't they? Steeler Freak says this. What is the blocking scheme and how does it fit Johnson? Let's go to Cody. What's up, dude? Always great seeing Cody on the terrible board. My man, great to see you back, sir. Hope things are well with you. He says, will the real Caleb Johnson please stand up? Excuse me. Will the real Caleb Johnson please stand up? I think we're going to have a problem here. Mark Malone says this. If the box is loaded, you shouldn't ask Johnson to go in. John says Rodgers was deciding who played. Muth, Wilson, Johnson weren't on his list. RB, he says this Kenny G isn't that good. Everyone bitched about Rodgers throwing to halfbacks all game, but still think Kenny Gainwell is a keeper. Just asking for more of the same. You know what? And I ultimately think that you're right, RB. I think Kenny's success was due to our lack of offense overall. I think, and at the end of the day, um, it probably would have been Jalen Warren, Mike, if it wasn't Kenneth Gainwell. At the end of the day, I think that getting Jalen Warren, you see him get out in the open sometime. The guy could gain 30 yards on a play that you would think that he was going to gain maybe 2 or 3. Was Kenneth Gainwell's success just the product of what our offense wasn't?
That's part of it, but he showed that, giving an opportunity, he can be an electric playmaker on the team, be a very productive player, and he can be used in a multitude of roles within that offense. And say he's not a good player, I think is, or say he's not that good, it's a bit of a stretch. Is he an all-world running back? No, he's not Barkley, he's not CMC, he's none of those guys, but still a very productive player in the NFL. And like for a team that struggles to score points, he's someone you keep around because you can use him in multiple roles on that offense. Someone who can score from you in the passing game and the run game. You find a way to get him the ball. You find a way to get Jalen Warren the ball. That's an effective 1-2 punch. Now, should they be paying him like $7 to $8 million?
Can I
No,
suggest?
but there's a way to work in this offense, no matter how we design it, for him to be very productive.
Now, can I suggest a thought? Now, yes, he was very productive again for the offense that was what it was. Um, every team has to have a best player. Was it just a case of Kenneth Gainwell being the best player on a team that just doesn't have a lot of stuff going on offensively? In other words, if he was on another team, he wouldn't have had that effect or even had the opportunity to have that effect on the game. But being what we are and what we lack offensively, I think that really catered to the season he had, Mike. And again, at the end of the day, every team has to have a best player. He wasn't the best player in the league in anything. He didn't really blow the top off the league in any particular way. He just was the Steelers' best player. Am I way off on this?
I see what you're saying, because I know when he was in Philly, yeah, he was stuck behind Saquon Barkley, so he didn't get a whole lot of action. But no, we don't have Saquon Barkley here. He's splitting time with Jalen Warren, and I like that approach because neither one of those guys are true number ones. They're both number twos, and you put them both together, it's a great combination to have. So I'm all in favor of keeping Ken Gainwell around if it's affordable. And if he's going to want a shit ton of money, hey man, good luck, Godspeed. Hope you get your money, but no, this what we're going to give you, and not a penny more. I'd like him back, but it has to be at a reasonable price.
Because all right, let me move on. Let me move on the board here. Somber says Rodgers isn't on my list. Also, Cody says Rodgers fucking sucks. RB said everyone needs to go check out wide receiver Ted Hurst from Georgia State. Plays a lot like Pickens without the attitude. That could be interesting. I will check it out. Thank you, RB. Tater Todd, he says this. I so hope the grandpa comes back. Lindsay says, how many cases has Watson won? Of course, to Tater Tot. John says we were talking about a dude who refused to show a picture of his wife. Rodgers is batshit weird with trust issues and nukes relationships faster than a freshman high school chick. Steel Loyal says Warren, one of the most explosive backs in the league. Let's go to MKH. He says this: you'd both look cute in lipstick and cat eyeglasses. Yes, we would. Matter of fact,
we would. Yes, we would.
Somber says this: didn't Johnson catch a ball out of the backfield on a wheel route that went for 20 yards and it got called back for holding or something? What game was that? Colts can't remember. I maybe, possibly. It just never hit me to any point in the season when I said to myself, there's where I'm missing. That is what I'm missing. That's what I wanted to see. There was literally a run, and whatever game that was, it was early in the season. I remember saying, Mike, I was like, if he could run like that all the time, other than that, I see no acceleration. I didn't see anything that really, no burst, Mike, anything that didn't wow me. But again, he was a rookie. Let's see if he can improve and fix those things moving forward.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm rooting for him because he's on the team, but I'm not holding my breath.
Steel Loyal says yes, it was the Colts. Steel Loyal also says he actually looked fast out there. Somber hope the new staff can unlock him. Mark Malone says, I think they're going to spend the money elsewhere. The Fugger did have the best hands on the team, though. Steeler Freak says KG got a lot more attention because of Rodgers' large number of checkdowns. And that's what I'm saying. It was due to our lack of offense. In my opinion, if we had anything else going for us, there might not have been that much success for KG because of, numbers are down.
If you're bringing Aaron Rodgers back, you better bring back Kenny Gainwell because that's going to be our offense next year.
Cody says this.
It's dump downs and check downs.
Cody says this. Aaron Rodgers can throw the ball downfield. Away underthrown pass to DK comes to mind. Also, you got a big chaw in there, Thunder. You got a big chaw in there.
I got like a little something happened on the inside of my cheek there, and I keep moving my tongue over, and it looks like I'm moving a big chaw.
And then back for MKH, you would look pretty cute with my nutsack right on your forehead. So I'm going to scoot on after that comment. Let me we're going to talk a little bit more here, guys, about some things on offense before we do turn it over to the defense, Mike. These are, I came across this online. This was quarterbacks. Mike, it's asking what you would rather do. Let me get the list out here. I don't remember who wrote it, but I think it's interesting, Mike, for options for quarterbacks. And then we're going to take a look and say what we would recommend or what we prefer from these numbers, Mike. Would we prefer this? Aaron Rodgers, 1 year, $10 to $15 million. Malik Willis, 2 years, $40 million. Mac Jones for a day 2 pick. Ty Simpson at number 21, or Will Howard starts this year. If those are your 5 options, Aaron Rodgers, 1 year, 10 to 15 mil. Malik Willis, 2 years, 40 million. Mac Jones for a day 2 pick. Ty Simpson at number 21, or Will Howard starts. Mike, what's the most ideal situation for the Pittsburgh Steelers from those 5? And do you think it's ultimately going to be one of those 5?
Oh, wow. What I would do, me personally, not thinking that like the Steelers front office, because I want to go the complete opposite of what we've been doing. I would say, fuck it, let's spend, $40 million over 2 years on Malik Willis and see what happens. Let's see if that small little sample size is worth it.
I'm like, the more I'm reading and hearing about him, he's getting less desirable. I'm hearing about there's a lot of things that he certainly has to get better at to be a starting full-time quarterback in the NFL. Yeah. Just from what I'm reading.
Yeah, I know, but man, from what we've been doing to what that would be a complete total shift for the organization. So me personally, as someone not running the team, I'd say, fuck it, let's do it and see what happens. Because once again, worst case scenario, we're picking high. Best case scenario, we're where we're at. And that's kind of how it is with all these guys. That's just the way this team's going to be. It's either we're going to be right back in the same situation around 500, fighting for that last playoff spot, or picking in the top 10. And I'd rather do it with a quarterback that looks a little bit of that can be exciting out there. You never know what he's going to do. I'd rather do that. I don't want Aaron Rodgers. Mac Jones, I think for a day 2 pick, I don't want to give up a 3rd rounder for him. I'd give him a 4th rounder, but I know they're going to want at least a 3rd. So that's no there. And Will Howard seems to be the safest choice. So between him and Malik Willis, I'd rather go Malik Willis because I just think it would be so much more fun to watch him run around there.
He relies on splash plays. He's not too. Again, there's a pretty good list against him.
I know. And there's, I think it'd be fun to watch.
All right, interesting take. Let's get back on the board and see what everybody's saying. Somber says Howard for free. LOL. Duh. Mark Malone says A-Rod and draft Sawyer Robertson. I'm sorry. Cody says Jaylen Warren isn't catching passes past 15 yards. Also, Tortilla says Mac Jones. Mac Jones is what Tortilla would like. Somber says picking high in a quarterback plentiful draft. Yes, please. And then Steeler Freak says this. Remember, Rooney wants to give the impression they are a Super Bowl contender. He won't allow Howard to start at sending the wrong message. Let me pull up, Mike. I got a list here of. Give me one moment. I have a list of quarterbacks I do want to talk about briefly. If I could just pull it, if it could just pull up a little faster for me, Mike, you could take the wheel for a moment while I do that.
Yep, sorry, I had to unmute myself there. But yeah, like Somber saying Will Howard for free, like that is like the Art Rooney wheelhouse. He's here and he works for cheap, so let's go with him and put pieces around him to say we're trying to win. But I think Steeler Freak's right, man. Like, he says we want to contend and compete. So this is making me think our whole quarterback situation is going to be Aaron Rodgers, and we're going to talk in circles for the next couple of weeks to a month until Aaron Rodgers comes out and says, "Yeah, I'm coming back, and I'm coming back as a Steeler." I have a feeling that the Steelers already know what Rodgers is going to do, and they're just willing to like sit there and just wait until it's actually announced publicly at his time frame. So I don't know. I just want to see something different. If we're tired of just being 9-8, 8-8, 10-7, getting out in the first round.
Mike, what if
Will Howard or start Malik Willis? One of the two. Go with it.
What if Will Howard? I got to be honest with you. The fact of the matter is that we never even seen him play a single snap. I mean, he might come in and just blow us all away. I mean, he's playing behind. He's playing behind Aaron Rodgers. He learned the system for a year. He sat back and kind of watched it, from afar. There's a chance he could step in and do well. And that's one thing that, I mean, the Will Howard lovers, they think that. And again, everybody that's just not, they want to go with the draft. Yeah. They want to do this. They think Aaron's the best idea. Nobody's really given Will the benefit of the doubt that he might come out and do well. At the end of the day, it wasn't on his arm, but he did go to, he was in national championships and he did some big things at Ohio State. So again, there is a chance the guy could play. Let me grab a couple more messages, Mike, and I did find my list here finally. Let me go to right around, here we go. To John. Oh, nope, right past John. Here we go. Cody says, "Damn, I was on the short reels pod. That shit is making me dizzy." All right, yeah, we're just experimenting. I apologize for making you dizzy. Again, we're just trying to see.
I think Cody was just huffing Mark Malone's paint, and he got a little dizzy.
Let's see. Still loyal. He says I was too. Yeah, maybe we'll cut that. Again, we are just trying it today. But do give us your feedback. We appreciate it. Thank you. Cody says you guys are live on 2 different pods. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, but all right, we'll work on it. Tater says 9 and 8s are over, bra. Enjoy 4 and 13s. Yeah, because that ever happened in the history of our team, and the fact that the Browns never get past that 4-win mark. We'll see how that plays out.
1989.
89 was the last time.
Yep.
They haven't won the Tennessee Titans have a more recent division championship in our division than the Browns do. Let's see. Steel Oil says you say 4-13 like we'd be mad about it. LOL. And then Steel says Cody's always dizzy. Cody said I was kind of mad. That other way sucks ass. Yeah, I don't know. Again, we're just trying to feel it out too. If I continue to get negative feedback, we're gonna cut it. But do let me know. Let me know what you guys think. If you like it, if you don't like it, let us know, and we will handle it accordingly. Mike, this is my list. This is most notable free agents. Any of these people land on the Pittsburgh Steelers this year, Mike? I got a list of about 15 guys, give or take. Let's throw this list out there. Daniel Jones, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Marcus Mariota, Zach Wilson, Tyrod Taylor, Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Jimmy Garoppolo, Mitch Trubisky, Case Keenum, Trey Lance, Carson Wentz, Malik Willis, Gardner Minshew, Tyler Huntley, Skylar Thompson, Sam Howell. Mike, who out of that list grabbed your attention? Yeah.
A shotgun to the dick.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. We got to get this figured out. We got to get this quarterback situation figured out.
Jesus Christ.
Tater says, what an awful list. For Tater to say it's an awful list.
You know what's bad when Tater says, oh, God.
Yeah, because the Cleveland Browns is nothing but an awful list. So,
yeah, it's not a. It's going to be Aaron Rodgers or it's going to be Malik Willis.
Steel Loyal says, that's a list. Cody says all the names can lick taint on that list. Some taint licking. Steeler Freak says this Brady is the only quarterback since 2000 drafted in the 6th round having Super Bowl success. Brock was close. I mean, they lost that Super Bowl, but again, depends on what your opinions on Brock is. Mark
like
Malone
he wasn't
says,
the reason they lost that Super Bowl, man. Though, like he was close. If he would have won that Super Bowl, holy shit, the narratives.
oh, I think you're starting to see the real Brock now. But again,
Yeah.
they're still winning football games. At the end of the day, is he really tearing the league up? I don't know that he is. I think that a lot of other things play into that as well. Got to draft a guy. Mark Malone says, just keep on drafting. Keep on drafting. Tortilla says, I love the real. Huh. So that's interesting.
Of course, let's take it with a grain of salt. This is tortilla.
No,
I'm not messing with tortilla.
Cody says Aaron Rodgers fucking sucks. John says might as well start Derpy as quarterback. Again, that list not very Mike, not
that is a very Derpy-esque list.
That is a very Derpy-esque list, and that's what we're working with out here, Mike, right now. And then also, let me find one more list that I have here before we get out of offense. This one I found that I thought was interesting, only because it has to do with my Pitt Panthers. Ultimately, Mike, this is cool. Just one moment, I can find this. This list is. I don't want to start talking about it too early until I find it.
I wish I had the Jeopardy theme song queued up.
All right, so this, Mike, these are colleges ranked by NFL 1,000 yard seasons. This is all-time colleges ranked by NFL 1,000 rusher seasons. Miami, Mike, Miami Hurricanes 38. 38 is the leader. Number 2 is Georgia with 30. Number 3, Alabama with 29. Number 4, Pitt, 28 on the all-time 1,000 rushing seasons in the NFL by Pitt players. Miami 38, Georgia 30, Alabama 29, Pitt 28, Notre Dame 27, Texas 26, Oklahoma and Penn State tied for 25. Florida, Ohio State wraps up that column, Mike. Again, I just wanted to throw it out there. That's my Pitt Panthers. And again, they get into the NFL and they do just fine. Love my Pitt. Love my Pitt, Mike.
Yeah, that other team though, man. If their running backs would not blow out their knees, they'd be a little higher up the list too. Like how many times can you count like Kajana Carter and Curtis Enis Kajana Carter blowing out his knees and Curtis Enis being the original Eddie Lacy eating himself out of the league?
Or Willis McGahee. I mean, it happens all the time. These kids, they
McGahee was a beast until his knee went 5 different directions.
It's unfortunate because, again, at the end of the day, you know what these guys have, and it sucks to see their careers end that early and that abruptly, and it's tragic. So, but that being said, Mike, I do think that is everything from the offense today that we're going to talk about. Before we switch over to defense, Mike, this was early on in our break, in our vacation, and it caught my attention, and it didn't raise any flags until you brought it up. Not raising any flags, but Mike, what about this trade that was talked about early in our vacation? Tanner McKee needs to be traded to the Steelers, and the Steelers need to use Nick Herbig to bring Tanner McGee. Mike, who wrote that? And the thing was, I seen it. It came up a couple of times. It was in different sources. Mike, Tanner McKee.
Yeah,
Nick Herbig.
Yeah, and like I think we had to throw a sweetener in there too, as a draft pick. No,
Mike,
who the fuck is Tanner McGee, and why would you trade Nick Herbig, who's becoming one of the better edge rushers in the league? And for a team, everyone's like, oh well, you got TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, Jack Sawyer. Yeah, the top 3 of them one of them's always banged up, so you need all 3 of them, and you're not going to trade him for Tanner fucking McGee.
Mike, this guy's a backup. We don't need backups. We have ample backups. We have a quarterback room full of backups. And again, I don't even know how far this made it out. I don't know if people that would be national coverage would have even saw this, but I just think to myself, what a dumb thing to say. And this is why I can't take what a lot of people are reporting, Mike. Now, Tanner McKee should be traded to the Steelers, and Nick Herbig should be the piece that moves him.
No.
What?
If I'm trading Herbig, you know, I want something more than a backup quarterback that's a 25-year-old backup quarterback that I don't even know what round he was drafted in. No, God, no, 1,000 times no. I'm not trading Nick Herbig. Actually, I'm going to extend Nick Herbig, and then figure out work it into the cap to where I'm going to have him and Highsmith and T.J. Watt all still around.
Look, even dumb little Tater. He's like, who the fuck is a Tater McKee?
Exactly.
Tater McKee. That was funny.
It's stupid. And like the guy who put it out there is like a national guy too. And he proposed a bunch of trades last year and he hit on a decent amount of them, but my God, this one might be the worst one I've ever seen.
It's really fascinating. Again,
I'll trade Nick Herbig for a healthy Patrick Mahomes. How about that?
Yeah, right. Let's go to right here where Cody says, let's get a quarterback that can at least overthrow someone. Steel Loyal says, so Miami is RBU? Basically, yeah. As of right now, they are. Go to Tortilla. He says Tanner McKee is Russian propaganda. Cody says Nick Saban retired as soon as he heard everyone is going to pay players. Steeler Freak says Ryan says Tater McKee. I heard and dropped my that's what he wrote. Tater wrote Tater McKee right in there. He dropped his bong. Also, Cody says Tanner McKee is the kid on the Bad News Bears. So there you go, Mike. I thought it was stupid. Again,
he was a 6th-round draft pick.
And the other guy has all the potential in the world. Talking about Nick Herbig, and again, yeah. he's a player that's more than likely going to take the place of somebody that's ahead of him whenever they do move on. But that kind of leads to my next story, Mike. My next topic. I do want to ask you your question on this. Talking about the guy that he might replace one day. Talking T.J. Watt. Mike, if T.J. Watt doesn't end up winning a playoff game in his career, is he a Hall of Famer? Let's say he has a gazillion sacks as he has, and he's got all these other things. Is his lack of success in the playoffs, and again, how much can you really come down to an outside linebacker when you're talking about a team having such a bad run of in the playoffs for the past decade or so? T.J. Watt ultimately in on his own merit, Mike. Even if he does not win a single playoff game in his time in Pittsburgh,
yeah, he'll get in based on just like the stats alone. Arguments will be made against him that he disappears in the playoffs, and you just have to pull up his stats to show that. And then the sweetener for someone making the argument of why he shouldn't be would be like, all the times he's been there, his team's only won once, and here's how he performed in those games. But what he did in the regular season totally outweighs all of that when in voters' minds. They're going to see this cat was, one of the premier edge rushers in the league, and he was putting up, putting up numbers that, Reggie White was putting up. It was like J.J. Watt, Reggie White, and T.J. White, or like when they would show, by this age, it's always T.J. Watt in the Hall of Famer, T.J. Watt in the Hall of Famer. So yeah, he's going to walk into the Hall of Fame.
You know what? Even Tater makes a good point here. Tater says that Joe Thomas is in the Hall of Fame, never even played a playoff game. So I don't know if it's a disagreement, Tater. I think you made a good point, believe it or not, because Joe Thomas never even played in a playoff game. So I mean, that's probably going to be okay for him. But it's just the end of the day, as a Steeler fan, to know that he was there for his duration, and we could not get a single playoff win with him on the team is somewhat discouraging, Mike. But let's see again. This is why they made the move that they made. This is why coach stepped down. This is why we brought in new coaches. This is why. So we will see. We will see. Maybe, Mike. Maybe we could get out of this first round one of these years. And again, now would be the time. Now would be the time to maybe start seeing changes again with all these differences and changes happening.
You can't let the Pirates beat you.
You know what? Somebody's got to win it first. Somebody's got to get out of the first round in Pittsburgh, and it's going to happen this year. I do think it is. Let's go to the whistling in the background is making me think my one of my pulleys is going or about to pull over and check my belts again. And that's probably Mike. I think that's his hamster wheel that he has going on over there.
Like, like the week before vacation, my computer was running
Oh, I hear it
perfect.
now. Now that I'm
Yeah,
listening to it, I can hear it.
yeah. We come back from vacation and it's pulling this bullshit. Okay, like my computer, I'm gonna start nicknaming my computer Cody.
Tater says Joe Tom. Okay, we did get that one. Somber says that college football running back stat seems futile with the portal. Yeah, for sure. Mike, let me do again. I want to stay on defense here. We're going to talk about a couple of guys. I want to know if you think that are getting, I think that these are no brainers. I'm going to be honest with you. We're talking about some of these players talking extensions. A couple of people looking for the bag. Mike, I haven't seen Ty today. I know Tyrone's a big Joey Porter Jr. guy. Between Joey Porter Jr., Nick Herbig, KG, Mike, are these guys, are they shoo-ins? Are they getting their extensions?
I think JPJ is shooing for the extension.
They're saying JPJ is looking roughly around 128 million, $32 million a year is what they're projecting for him to get in that extension. Does that sound right to you?
Yeah, I think that's in line with like the other top corners in the league and the way he's been playing. That's where he tracks to be. And you gotta lock down your cornerbacks because still the three most important positions on a team in a passing league: quarterback, left tackle, cornerback. Don't let him leave. You lock him up. If you got to rework other guys, you got to cut some dead weight. Cut the dead weight. You gotta extend him.
Now, all right. So you got TJ making a gazillion dollars, and then you got Cam. He's still getting paid, getting paid handsomely for an older guy. Not great, but still good.
Yeah.
How much? I mean, does it make sense, Mike, to just continue to keep pouring money onto this defense? Again, these are extensions. These aren't even new people that you're bringing in. Now, don't get me wrong. JPJ's numbers are pretty damn good, and matched with Christian Gonzalez, he actually has a lot of better numbers. As a matter of fact, do I think he deserves to get paid? I do think he deserves to get paid. But how much money can you possibly sink in this defense, Mike, when you're really struggling to get any offense on this team, which we've had years of struggling on offense, Mike? Does it make sense to continue to pour money and have these extensions and continue to pay these guys on defense crazy money when the offense is still sitting over there like, hey, what about me? I'm still deficient over here.
In JPJ's case, yes, because you're going to need someone to shut down other teams' number one receivers, and he's that guy. And you can easily pay him by cutting Cam Hayward, cutting Patrick Queen, cutting dead weight on that defense, and reallocating that money to someone who has outplayed their rookie contract and who's looking like their stars on the ascendancy. You have to lock him up, and then you still have money to pay your guys on offense.
Like, this is JPJ next to Christian Gonzalez this year, Mike. JPJ, let's see. Is this 1 year? Yeah, this will be 1 year. 333 yards given up by JPJ. All right, 1 interception, 0. Against 0, 11 pass breakups to 7. That's in favor of JPJ. 1 sack, 0 sacks in favor of JPJ. JPJ's percentage allowed, 48.5. Gave up 333 yards, no touchdowns allowed, Mike. Christian Gonzalez even gave up a couple touchdowns. 56.2 passer rating allowed by Joey Porter Jr., 67.6 PFF grade for Joey Porter Jr., Mike, and 95.3 PFSN grade compared to 508 yards allowed, 2 touchdowns allowed. Again, still pretty great numbers for both players. But Joey Porter Jr. is playing elite football. He's playing elite defensive back. He should have been a Pro Bowl player. He should have been on the All-Star team. He should get the bag, Mike. But that, again, it in my opinion, puts us in a situation to we're just continuing to sink more money into the defense. Yes, you want to have a great defense. Yes, you want, but at the end of the day, where is sinking all that money into that defense? How is that played for us over the past 5 years, give or take, maybe more. Yes, I do think he deserves to be here. Yes, I do think he deserves to be paid. I just don't know how much money, how much longer we could go, Mike, without investing in this offense. Again, we're going discount on everything on offense, and yet we're continuing to sink more and more and more money into the defense.
Like, do you want to let a number one corner in the NFL walk out of your building and get nothing in return, to where you can lock him up, cut the actual dead weight of the defense, and then take that money that you just cut and then
Well, who are you cutting?
you can get rid of Cam Hayward, you can get rid of Patrick Queen easily right there. Restructure Jalen Ramsey, like they're saying on the board. Like you got to do something. You have to keep you need corners in the league. This is a passing league.
And again, it's not. This really has nothing to do with the cornerback, the position, or the person. This literally has to do with where the money is being dumped compared to the other side that is being skimped. Once again, looking for discount quarterbacks and band-aids. Say what you want about the cornerback and whoever the hell she said. The quarterback is the most important person on a football team, and the fact that we're still dancing around finding band-aids in that's got to be alarming to some, Mike. And again, I'm not saying that Joey Porter doesn't deserve it. I do think he deserves it, and I do think that he's going to get it, and I do want him to stay here for a long time. But at the end of the day, though, that dead weight, if that what you're saying is the case, then the dead weight has to be cut. There's no more keeping Cam around and playing his games financially. There's no more of this. They have to not sit on their hands. They got to be proactive and make those things happen if that in fact is the case, because there's just way too much money going in on this defense, Mike, and not getting the results. Again, we're going discount, double check quarterbacks at this point. We're bringing in the cheapest guy, the youngest guy. We're trying to draft people so we could save money on rookie contracts. To me, Mike, we have to focus on this offense at some point. We have to, and I think we are. I think this draft is going to be big offense wise, but at the end of the day, Mike, that's still more. Again, 128 million, 100. I think somebody said on the board he could be making like 30 million, something like this a year. That's a lot of money. Again, I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it. I'm just saying in the big picture, looking at the team, you still have a hungry family as John Goodman continues to eat all the food. Have you seen that Family Guy where it was Thanksgiving, he was eating all the food and his family were all anorexic and everything? But that's what it seems like, Mike. The offense continues to still be anemic. It still continues to be so much to be desired, and yet we're going to go ahead and put another big contract on the defensive side of the ball, which I don't disagree with.
Like this is like one of the few big contracts on the defense the past few years that would actually make sense to pay the guy. Like the contract that Watt got and Cam got. No, those aren't premier positions, and like we overpaid for those guys. So now it makes giving Porter that money, we're having to have this conversation because of where all the other cap money was allocated towards. Because if that money wasn't spent on those guys, you'd be able to pay Porter and have the one or two more weapons on the offensive side of the ball.
Let's jump on the board, Mike. I'm going to go right here. Jay, there it is. Still Loyal says JPJ might get 30 million a year plus. Cody says Taterade. Mark Malone, extend JPJ. Herbig, Mount Washington for sure. Cody says England, yuck. He also says your computer has a dirty mind. Scoot up here too. Still Loyal, he says makes sense to pay the players producing for sure. When it comes to guys like Queen, he's got to go. And that's what listen. And I don't disagree with you guys. These are obviously the moves. It's just, are they going to make those moves? Are they going to cut Queen? Are they going to cut off that excess fat, Mike? At the end of the day, that's where it's kind of all getting jumbled up, because you see the writing on the wall. You see the right answer. You see what it is that they probably should be doing. Are they going to do it? We don't know. Again, we have a lot coming up, Mike. Free agency here just in a couple of weeks. March 9th is the tampering period. March 11th does kick off free agency in its entirety. The combine this Thursday, Mike, all the way through the weekend. And then 2 months from today, 2 months from today, the 23rd of April, it's going to be draft time right here in Pittsburgh. So, guys, a lot of stuff still to happen in this offseason. And then once you get the draft, Mike, they're showing up in Pittsburgh the next day. Then you got rookie camp, and then you got all kind of stuff going on. It's going to be very, very eventful this offseason. Let's jump up here to Tortilla. He says this: if you say JPJ 3 times in the mirror, Tyrone appears. That's funny, man. That is funny. Mark Malone says, we've got the money. He says, we got the money. Steel Loyal says this, especially if we cut Jonnu and Queen. I think Jonnu's a no-brainer. There's literally nobody on that team that made less plays than Jonnu Smith. John says, complex problem for the Steelers. Wide receivers, no. Rodgers is a dink and dunk. Better to get targets who are drafted. Hostages, not volunteers. And Cody says, that whistle reminds me of that old pedophile on Family Guy. Mr. Herbert, I think it is. Mr. Herbert, something like that. Hey, Shunny. He's always whistling when he talks. Definitely know you're talking about. Tater says this. He says, can you lend the Browns some money? No, hell no. No, hell no. Steele says, why don't you ask Deshaun Watson? He has plenty of it. He stole enough from you. If you could ask him, he'll certainly probably go get a hand job. Mike, also, let's talk about the legacy that's about to be started by Mike McCarthy, by Omar Khan. Just your prediction, the way things are going, how does the first leg of this legacy under Mike McCarthy, how does this thing play out? Of course, everybody knows we need offense. Everybody knows we need receivers. Everybody knows we need a left guard. Everybody knows we need a quarterback. Mike, year one, here we are. This, again, uncharted territory. What's this first leg look like under the Khan and Mike McCarthy era?
Ooh. Record-wise, on paper-wise, maybe a step back. Maybe finishing a few games under 500.
And what do we base that on? I mean, because people are saying that we're not going to finish as good as we did with our last coach. What's the evidence that everyone is leading toward with that particular opinion? Because I don't see it. I think we're in the exact same position that we were, and I think that we should be just as good. If I don't know, but what's the theory behind that? Why does everybody say that we took a step back?
Tomlin played a lot of conservative ball on offense, played it close to the vest. Try to keep turnovers down, where McCarthy likes to move the ball through the run game, and then using that to set up the pass game to play action, hit plays down the field, hit across the middle, stuff like that. To where can Aaron Rodgers do that if he's our guy next year? Will Howard do that if they go that route? Just being more aggressive and opening up to a chance of mistakes, turnovers, stuff like that, where Tomlin played conservative. McCarthy's not that conservative compared to Tomlin, so going to be an adjustment period, because for the last 8 years we played really conservative football, and now if this new coach wants to come in and open it up more, are these guys going to cause mistakes? That's just the early thought process for me right now. It's just me a change of play styles, and is that going to set us back? Well, once I start seeing the team and start seeing those preseason games, seeing how the offense is going, it'll probably change and probably be, maybe the same, maybe one more win than what we had, so 11 wins. So right now, I'm looking at this team right now anywhere between 7 to 11 wins. So it's really not that major of a swing.
You said 7 to 11. You want to make it any broader? Maybe they'll get somewhere between 4 and 14 wins.
No, it's one more win. Well, we had to eke out some of those wins, and then 3 more losses. So, and that's kind of the way the season could have went this year. So.
Let's see what the board says. Cody says this. He says the team that traded Baker Mayfield for Deshaun Watson gets no help from anyone ever. Mark Malone, 13-4, at least one playoff win. RB says this. He says, I disagree. Tomlin's game plans made teams worse than they are. And finally, John says Rooney can't stop the boos if the fans aren't satisfied. So, guys, it's going to be interesting. And Mike, we always learn. You always learn. And last year took us about 3/4 of the season to really learn our identity as a team. I think little things like that really earning an identity is a good thing to see early on. I think just the fact that we were still winging it halfway through the year, 3/4 of the way through the year. I think if those things get cleaned up, your team just has a better general idea of what they're doing, and they could perform better. So we'll see. I mean, a lot of theory is, it kind of just got messy and stale under the last coaching staff, and we're going to find out the answers. We can sit here and debate till we're blue in the face. If this guy is this guy did that, the next guy's not going to do this. And the fact of the matter is, once everything does kick off, we will see. We will see if it was problems in the locker room. We will see if it was the game plans of the former coaching staff. So all those things are going to come to the light. We are going to learn them all. And Mike, I got to be honest with you, I can't wait. And as I said, we do have a lot of things to get us through this off season, all the way to the point of we're going to be watching football. But I do want to jump in real quick. I'm seeing something interesting here on the board. Tater Tot says Faker Gayfield. You mean, which again, you didn't like Baker Mayfield, the only guy in Cleveland Brown history that gave you a better season than the Pittsburgh Steelers in the last 40 years. You didn't like him. The only guy that took you to the playoffs and earned you a win since 1989, and you didn't like him. The only guy that made the Cleveland Browns look like a real football team, and Browns fans didn't like him. This is what I'm talking about when I talk about Browns fans, Mike.
Not the sharpest tools in the shed. Like I loved when the Browns had Baker Mayfield, because it made the Browns Steelers game actually competitive. Made it feel like it was going to potentially be a rivalry. Like how could you not, as a Browns fan, like Baker Mayfield? Like this is someone like you should have built around, instead of the coaching staff tore him down and made him the scapegoat for everything. And look where that coach is now. Look where that franchise is now. Look where Baker is now. He's someone that, like, my God, I would love to have had Baker Mayfield, but we still had Ben at that time. So it is what it is.
I just thought that was funny. Again, from the Cleveland fan base, there you have that. Also, Mike McCarthy wasn't a fresh tire to me. It was uneventful. I think that's what's being said. Steel Loyal says only thing that makes it fresh is he's an offensive head coach. Cody says Mike should be in a two short song. Can anyone guess the name of the song? Too short song. Got you. A rapper. Mike should be in a too short song. I don't know. What are you thinking, man? I'm drawing a blank.
I can't remember.
The thing was, like, I was into Too Short, and I don't even remember like too many of his popular songs at this point. But I can imagine it could be funny. Which one, Cody? Let's go to Mark Malone. He says Browns have Stockholm syndrome. Steel Loyal says, yeah, we wouldn't expect a Browns fan to like Baker. Y'all don't know what a good quarterback looks like. That's right, because he won. He brought wins. Of course, Cleveland doesn't like him. Of course, they don't like him. That only makes sense. Let's see. Mark Malone, I'm sorry. Blow the whistle. Blow the whistle. Cody's saying, blow the whistle. Gotcha. RV says this. Did Mike borrow Derpy's smoke alarm?
I got nothing. I can't defend myself. My computer's a piece of shit, man. It's trying, guys. I'm sorry.
All right. Steeler Freak says, Mark, let's go with Mike McCarthy's playbook is dated. He isn't bringing anything new. And Cody says, haha, the Browns like Johnny Football more than Baker Mayfield. And, I got to be honest with you, Johnny Football was more than – I liked him more than some of the other people that they did prefer as well. They're all messed up there, Mike.
Yeah, and Johnny Football didn't do that bad for a guy who never studied.
Right.
Like, shit, man. Imagine if he applied himself. I'm not saying he would have been great, but if he would have applied himself, he would have been okay-ish.
Tater says, I actually liked them. He said, I actually like Faker. And then John follows it up by saying, a prime running back like Chubb, Mayfield, and that Curran's defense, they can be legit. They just never do they never do two right things at once. They just don't. If they do one thing, they do everything else wrong. And right now, it's the defense is good, everything else is struggling, and no, it's just what the Browns do. It's truly fascinating. It's incredible. RB says, "Do you people watch football seriously?" McCarthy, as always, has modernized schemes. There you go. He's RB jumping back at some of the comments that he's outdated, and RB on the board there. I do want to make a couple announcements, Mike. From last week when we were off, we had two deaths amongst former Pittsburgh stars from back in the day. Of course, Mike, the first death was Mike Wagner. He was the Super Steeler, secondary Super Steeler from back in the 70s, and also Bill Mazeroski with arguably the biggest home run in World Series history in that 1960 Game 7 against the Yankees. Walk-off home run for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Bill Mazeroski and Mike Wagner both passing away while we were off, Mike.
Yeah, two big losses to Pittsburgh sports, man. Like Mike Wagner, like just the unassuming guy of that Steelers defense. I saw like interviews with him. He was like, "Yeah, I'd finish games. I would have like no grass stains on my jersey." He's like, "That's how good everyone in front of me was." He's like, "It was fun to watch, but he's like, but as a football player, he's like, I want to hit someone." And there was some games I had no one to hit. So he had that unique perspective to watch all those guys in front of him. And then Mazeroski, if he hits that home run as a Yankee, if he was a Yankee who hit the only walk-off home run to end a World Series, that play would be talked about nonstop every fucking Yankees game.
Absolutely.
But because he was a Pirate and it happened to the Yankees, it gets lost in baseball lore, which is a shame because it was the first and only time it's been done. And it also sucked that he had to wait that long to make it into the Hall of Fame too, when he was the greatest defensive player of all time at his position. That should have automatically made him a first ballot Hall of Famer. But my God, big loss, both those guys. And like both of them too, not only great players, but like great people too. So that always like double whammy right there.
You know what really hit me the other day? I was thinking to myself, every single person that you know is going to die. Ain't that, I don't know. It sure leaves a wrinkle in leaves a couple wrinkle in your pages when you think about it, because everybody you know around you is going to die, and if you outlive them, then you got to sit there and watch every single person that you know die. Like you're like a grandparent that's like 90 years old. Everybody they've ever known died.
That's why I'm hoping to go first.
I'm sure you will, but I mean the other people.
Damn.
But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know. Everybody you know, like.
Way to bring the mood down, bud.
Every person. Let's see. Cody says this, Mike, you're the best. The Penn State jokes are getting old. Steel Loyal says, if Judkins plays good next year, the Browns will trade him away. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that as well. It's just what they do. Mike, we are rounding third here on the show. We got a couple things going. As I said, we have a lot of wheels turning, guys. We did a lot of work over this break, and I do want to say that we built with our own hands and hammers and nails. We built, Mike, a new addition to the team. Our team grew. We have now what we're calling our draft committee. Mike, they are doing a lot of work together. They got we're going to introduce them here in a couple days, but they're working hard. Might be somebody recognizable, might not be somebody recognizable, but we'll talk more about that crew a little bit later as the week goes on, Mike. And after the draft comes and goes, these guys will probably be sticking around with us on the show moving forward as well. So I'm very excited about the new additions. We'll make the announcement later on in the week, guys. Very excited about that. These guys really know their draft stuff, and I've been dropping in on some conversations, Mike, that they've been having, and I got to be honest with you, I'm very, very excited to hear their draft take, because again, Mike, the draft is just 2 months from right now.
I'm sorry, I just happened to read Mark Malone's comment as you were wrapping that up. Yes, I'm excited to get these two on, and to see them on here and see them everywhere else where you can find the two Dum Yinzers. And like I said, you added me to that group chat, and my Lord, man, they know ball. So
they sure do.
Exciting. I don't know if it's going to top the analysis of Simpson, Reynolds, but it's sure going to be close.
You're not making fun of Derpy's expert analysis, are you?
That was just the best. The poor guy, the very first time we had him on. Hey man, who you like in this draft? Simpson.
And he just kept saying, he just kept going, Reynolds.
It was the best.
Who, Derpy? Reynolds. Like we
Reynolds.
didn't hear you. Like we didn't hear him say Reynolds.
Yeah.
But
I'm excited for the new additions, man.
I am too. They certainly pick up in areas that I lack. I was talking to them, like all the stuff that goes into the draft with the mocks and trying to figure these things out. That stuff makes me nuts because at the end of the day, people with these mock drafts and everything, just one person being picked out of order from what you're saying, it kind of screws, it can screw up the whole. So this is certainly an area that I'm happy that we put together and brought in folks. And I think this department is going to do well. And again, beyond the draft, Mike, I look forward to them being with us. And again, later on this week, I think we're going to try to get the guys on, maybe to introduce them. And again, maybe you might be surprised, maybe you might not be. We'll be talking about that more as the week goes on, like the draft just 2 months from today.
I can't wait, man. This is one of my favorite times of the year. This all the moves not happening just for the Steelers, but throughout the NFL too. Keeping an eye on like what teams in your division are doing, what some of the contenders are doing, and like what are the bottom feeders trying to do.
Yeah,
that's where the real fun stuff is. Like the bad teams, watching them making more bad moves and compounding their already bad situation brings me joy.
Let me grab a couple more messages. Cody says that's valid. Nobody watches the Pirates. Also, Mark Malone, Derpy's nipples are going to chime in. Cody says maybe we should ask Paul Skeens to be the quarterback. Maybe. I bet you he would do just fine as a quarterback. He's just one of them guys. He's just a winner. I can't imagine Paul Skeens did 3 things in his life where he wasn't successful. He's just one of them guys. Somber says this. I already know what T-Bone is going to say. LOL. Draft Ione and Cooper Jr. first. Ione and Cooper Jr. first and second round. LOL.
That's one of my ideal drafts. One of my ideal first 2 rounds. You're solving 2 issues right off the bat.
Yeah, for sure, man.
At least on paper.
As we were saying, Mike, the Penguins, they'll be back in action on Thursday as they will be hosting the New Jersey Devils. The Pirates back in action right now as we speak. They are playing the Yankees in spring training, looking for their 4th win in 4 games. And, Mike, the Team USA beats Canada for that gold medal, Mike, yesterday. Team USA, USA. Were you up watching the game as it was 8 o'clock? And we're on the East Coast, so can you imagine if we were on the West Coast? It would have been 5 o'clock a.m. Mike, did you get up and watch this game?
No, I didn't even get up to watch this one too. I woke up at the right time to catch the end of it. So, yeah. But hey, like I said, man, I was happy with either outcome. It worked out for me.
And of course, Combine, Mike, just 3 more days, Thursday through Sunday, the Combine in Indianapolis. We'll be learning a lot about these young men. Quite a few people invited. Hundreds, 300, something like this. A lot of people, quite a few from Penn State, quite a few from Pitt.
Yep.
The end of the week, that does happen, Mike, as the NFL Combine kicks off on Thursday. And then once the weekend wraps up and we get that out of the way, then, Mike, will just be the 9th is tampering for free agency. The 11th is the official date for free agency. So it's just going to start bang, 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 bang.
Yep.
And before you know it, Mike, it's going to be draft time. We're going to be heading down to the North Shore. I believe I knew, Mike, it's the 23rd today. That's the 23rd. So it's exactly 2 months. I don't know if that equals out to 60 days, but give or take 60 days, 2 months from today. Biggest event, sports event for sure in Pittsburgh history, in Pittsburgh.
Oh, yeah. With what, 1 million plus people forecasted to attend. God, big day there, man. It's going to a lot of big days here leading up to it, man. I know last year, the first day of free agency, dude, was one of our biggest days ever.
Yeah.
We had an epic 3-hour live, I think, that day. 3 or 4 hour live, same thing like we do with the trade deadline. Yeah, that's a huge hopping day here. I can't wait for it, man.
And then
because it shapes the draft, what we're going to do. You can kind of figure out what we're going to do depending on what we do in free agency.
And then, we have camp, everything going on this summer, Mike. There's a lot There's a lot that's going to go on. We're glad to be back. I got to be honest with you. I'm super glad to be back. I drive myself crazy if I'm not doing this. It's just me talking to myself opposed to me talking to myself anyway, but now there's interaction, so I guess that helps. But a couple of things, Mike, before we are going to start getting ready to wrap things up here for today. So that is the schedule and what the NFL does look like here over the next couple months. Again, the Combine Thursday through Sunday, I'm sorry, March 9 through 11. 9th is tampering day. The 11th is the official start of free agency. 2 months from today is the NFL draft right here in Pittsburgh. Mike, after that, again, you have rookie camps, you have OTAs, you have everything that goes on. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It's totally eventful. And as I said, if you're a Pittsburgh fan all around, I think there's going to be a lot to cheer about this year. Penguins already looking better than they have the past 3 years where they haven't won a playoff series. Even the Pirates going out and spending money, the most money the Pirates ever spent in a season in their franchise history. This year, over $100 million, bringing in bats to help out that pitching staff, Paul Skeen, Mitch Keller, and company. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think we're going to have some success there. Also, Mike, we have the Riverhounds. They're back at it. They're coming off a championship. That's our soccer team. And, of course, the Pittsburgh Passion. They took a loss last year. The gals, the football players, they took a loss in the championship last year, but they're always strong, Mike. I think we're going to have some success this year in the black and gold. Bring some more hardware back home. That will be awesome for our lovely town here in Pittsburgh. Mike, anything else before we start to get into trivia time?
Yeah, the Hounds did bring in a title this year. That's awesome. But one of the big three is what I want to see is to come home with a championship. It's awesome that the Hounds got it. That rounds out the city. But my God, Buccos, Penguins, Steelers, one of you, bring home one more championship. Please, for the love of God.
Why don't you go and tell everybody about the website?
The2dumyinzers.com. Check it out, everyone. We got my dumb thoughts up at the2dumyinzers.com. We got the merch store over there, which I got to relink to everyone. I had an issue with our suppliers, but it's all taken care of now, so that'll be up here in a minute. And we got all of our social media links over there. So check it out at the2dumyinzers.com. It's all new and redesigned.
Looks really good. Whenever I was checking out, a lot of cool stuff, Mike, and there's going to be articles added. We got a lot of things coming, guys. Again, we did do a lot of work over this vacation. I think you're going to like as things start to get sprinkled out as we move forward here. You'll start to see more and more as we go along. But Mike, let's talk about this. Let's talk about the trivia question of the day. Now, I did a little bit of mixing together. It's kind of a hybrid, if you will, because we're talking our Steelers, of course, and then also successful Pirate teams plays into this trivia question as well. Put on your thinking caps, everybody. Here we go. Question of the day. Who was the Steelers quarterback? Who was the Steelers starting quarterback the last time the Bucs played in the National League Championship Series? Who was the Steelers starting quarterback the last time the Bucs played in the National League Championship World Series? Take a minute to think that over. We're live 5 days a week right here, Monday through Friday, 11:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. every day right here on the Tube.
Dude.
So let's think about this, Mike. What's the thought process? Now, the question is, who was the Steelers starting quarterback the last time the Bucs played in the NLCS? So let's start with the top. When was the last time the Pirates played in the NLCS? Mike, what period of time was this?
The 90s, right? Early 90s against the Braves.
All right. So now with that's your time period you're going off of. Who would have been the quarterback in the early 90s for the Steelers?
Let's see, could it be Neil O'Donnell, Bubby Brister, Mark Malone? Those are my three guesses right now.
Bubby, Mark Malone, and Neil O'Donnell.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with.
You leaning anyway?
I'm leading in to the super genius himself, Bubby Brister.
Bubby Brister. Is this your final answer?
Yep. The wind coming in off that lake outside of the Three Rivers.
All right, let me read it one more time just so there's no confusion. Who was the Steelers starting quarterback the last time the Bucs played in the NLCS? Mike, you're saying Bubby Brister.
I'm going with the Bubster.
And that's your final answer. All right, locking you in place. You were locked in on Bubby Brister, Mike. Let's take a look and find out. Let's give it a couple extra seconds. Let people throw up any guesses that they may have up on the board. If you don't know, throw up your guesses. Let's see how close you get. The question of the day is, who was the Steelers starting quarterback the last time the Bucs played in the National League Championship Series, the series right before the World Series? Mike says it was in the early 90s. And with that logic, he is saying he's making his pick, Bubby Brister. Bubby Brister is his pick, Mike. Give just another moment on that, and we will reveal the answer. Let me jump over here just for a minute. There we go. Mike, question of the day. Who was the Steelers starting quarterback the last time the Buccos played in the NLCS? Somber has no clue. Mike says Bubby Brister. Mike, you were partially right, but you were wrong, and I'm going to explain why. Neil O'Donnell, he did start 12 games that year. He was the quarterback. However, Bubby Brister did start 4 games that year. So he technically was a starter the year that the Steelers did. That the Pirates did to the NLCS. So I'm going to give you credit on this just because there was a couple games. He did start. He got the position taken by Neil O'Donnell, but Bubby Brister did, in fact, start 4 of the 16 games that year. So I'm going to give you the correct on that, Mike. It could have went either way. You could have been right with either guy. But the true answer is Neil O'Donnell. Bubby did start some games, so we'll give you that.
I wasn't sure yet if that was the time when Neil became the starter or Bubby was at the end of his tenure. I could not remember the timeline. I had a feeling it was one of those two.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
All right. You know how sometimes as you're stretching, you're yawning, you scratch your eyes. Did you ever, when you're rubbing your eyes, do they ever start to squeak?
Yes.
Have you ever? All right. Now that's not the weird part of the question. When you rub your eyes, sometimes they squeak. Now my question is, do you hear other people's eyes when they rub their eyes and they squeak? Because I've never heard in 47 years somebody else's eyes squeaking as they're rubbing. But as I'm rubbing my eyes, it feels like other people should be able to hear the squeaking. Is that sound only internally?
It could be. It could be. Because I've never thought about that.
You never heard anybody else's eyes squeaking?
No, just your
own. And I've never heard anybody say, "Hey, dude, what the fuck is your eye squeaking?" So I don't know. Is it?
It's like,
is it a noise to be heard, or is it internal? That sound.
It's got to be something internal. It's like when your body does some weird shit. Like you can be like, "Oh man, I feel like I stink," and something like, "No man, I smell your deodorant, I smell your cologne or your body wash," and over here you're thinking like. No, I'm sweaty, I'm smelly, and they're like, no, it has to be something internal with your body. It picks up their own scent, their own sounds all on its own that is just internalized for you to notice and no one else to. It's something weird with our bodies.
Tortillas has got bugs in your eyes. Yeah. I was just curious because again, just something I've noticed in 47 years of life. I sometimes I rub my eyes and you get that weird squeaking sound, almost like and I've never heard anybody else's eyes squeak. And I've talked to people and they say, "Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about," as you did.
Yeah.
But, you never hear anybody else's eyes squeak. Just observation that I made while on break. But, there you have it. I do want to say a couple of things, guys. Now that we are back from break, I do want to talk about our friends at Duquesne Pilsner. Guys, if you are going to do any drinking, stop and grab yourself some Duquesne Pilsner. Mike, you can get 6-packs and 12-packs at Giant Eagle. You can stop by any distributor and get a case. I do encourage you guys to go, even if you're not a drinker, just go check out their social media, hit the follow, hit the like buttons. They would certainly appreciate it over there, but they do do us a lot of favors as they do include us in a lot of their promotions, and we couldn't thank them any more than what we do, guys. So, Mike, as we always have it right here in the studio on tap, go ahead and get yourself some Duquesne Pilsner, guys, brewed right here in Pittsburgh, and it says on the can, grab a Duke.
Grab a Duke.
Also, while you're out and about checking out things, I do want to say that Mike did a really good job on that website. Go check it out. There's a lot of updates, and he kind of changed a few things. Very, very nice looking, Mike. I do want to say congratulations on the hard work that you did. But while you are doing that, go check us out on social media as well. You can check us out on Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, Threads, even TikTok, guys. Go check it out. Hit the follow if you haven't yet. And also, if you haven't yet, do hit the like button down below right here on YouTube. If you haven't, hit the sub, the share, leave a comment. It all helps in the algorithm, guys. We appreciate it greatly. Thank you so much. Like anything before we do get ready to wrap it up for today? Back from vacation.
Back from vacation, rested and ready to go. I can't wait for actual Steelers off season, the NFL off season to officially kick off. And it's going to start here with the combine. But man, once legal tampering kicks off, I can't wait for that. It's going to be all the rumors leading up to it are going to be fun. But once you actually see who puts pen to paper, who goes to where, I can't wait for that day. But we're going to have a lot of fun stuff leading up to that.
Absolutely. It's going to be plenty eventful for sure. I do want to say thank you everybody for coming and hanging out and checking us out today. We certainly appreciate each and every one of you. We truly, honestly do. We wouldn't do it without you guys. Thank you so much. I want to say thank you everybody on the board. You guys always keep things interesting on the show, guys. You are the best. And everybody at home as well. If you're just listening, watching, maybe you're at work, at the gym, in the car, wherever it may be, thank you too. I'm glad, Mike. I'm glad to get back. I'm glad to get back at it. I'm going to be honest with you. It's been a couple of days now. I was ready to get back to the grind, and here we are. We'll be back tomorrow at our regular time to do it all over again. I do know that Omar Khan will be talking in the morning. I think tomorrow, Mike. I think tomorrow, like 10 o'clock in the morning or something like that. Regarding the combine.
I think that's what it. Yeah.
So we got that going on as well, heading into the combine again, starting on Thursday through the weekend. So much going on, so much stuff going on, guys. We hope to see you back tomorrow. Tater, thank you, sir. He says, Wolf, stay safe. You also, my friend. Don't let the Loch Ness monster get you. Somber, my man, everybody. Again, thank you so much. Great to see everybody back. It's time. Like we're heading into that final stretch, heading into year number 5, heading into 1,000 episodes. So much coming up, guys, over these next 6 months. It's going to be a blast. Glad to have everybody here. It's going to be a ride. Mike, anything else? Speak now or forever hold your peace.
Have a great day, everyone. Let's do this again tomorrow.
Somber says squeaky eye sounds like an STD. Guys, yes, thank you so much. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for welcoming us back. You guys always do an amazing job. We can't wait to do it again tomorrow. We hope to see everybody. Then we'll be back at our regular time. For Derpy, for Finch, for Mike, myself, the 2 Dum Yinzers. Have a great Monday, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.